Good morning, everyone. I'm Nitya Narayan Maripito. Today, in Variations in English Pronunciation, we'll be presenting about British English versus New Zealand English. Before moving on to next slides, allow me to introduce our group mates, which are Fazirawati binti Bani Isha, Joycelyn Indrani, and Akina Okada. I would like to start our presentation by giving a little bit of introduction about British English and New Zealand English. According to Ella Lucy, in Great Britain, a person's place in society was determined by birth, and education wasn't mandatory. But when school was seen as important, came teaching the proper way to talk. Until the end of 18th century, everyone in England spoke a local dialect. Then, because of education, people were able to rise in class by working hard and earning a lot of money. Higher class society was easier to identify because they all sounded the same. And this is where RP began. And next, according to Oxford English Dictionary, the original inhabitants of New Zealand were the Maoris from the Eastern Pacific. At first, people say the NZE, or the New Zealand English, was a transported version of London Cockney, but both varieties were very much disliked. Then, New Zealand English was said to have developed from Australian English, as these varieties of English have strong similarities. However, there's a different explanation says that NZE was developed within the country itself as the result of new dialect formations. So these might be the reasons that have contributed to the early formation of New Zealand English. There are many major differences between the RP English and the New Zealand English, and today we'll present some of it. For the first difference, Fazira will present about the R sound in RP English is substituted with ah sound in New Zealand English. And Joyson will present about the eh sound in RP English is substituted with in New Zealand English. And the last difference is the E sound in RP English is substituted with E sound in New Zealand English. And this will be presented by Akina.
One of the major differences in RP pronunciation and New Zealand English pronunciation is the R sound is substituted with R in New Zealand English. There is a phenomenon called vowel shift, which is pronunciation of words changes over time and in different dialects due to linguistic and cultural influences. Peter Roach, in his Journal of 2004, he conveyed RP English is traditionally described as having a large inventory of vowels that can be grouped into short vowels, long vowels, and diphthongs. The length mark colon is used to mark the long vowels as in R. For New Zealand English, the book New Zealand Ways of Speaking English Multilingual Matters stated that Mr. Andrews expressed in his speech at the Wellington Conference at the secondary school's assistant teachers that the sounds of long vowels make speakers difficult to pronounce, like remark become remark. This difficulty naturally causes the speakers to make broad air diphthongs to diverge au into eu. In RP English, the vowel R is produced at the back of our throat with our mouth wide open and tongue low, making it long and deep. O is also produced at the back of our throat with our mouth wide open and tongue being lowered, but not really a long sound. To make it better understanding, I make this simplified version of table for the substitution R become O, as in for the example of word father in RP pronunciation is father. In New Zealand English pronunciation is father. For the word spa in RP pronunciation is spa. In New Zealand English pronunciation is spa.
The next major differences between British English and New Zealand English is the E sound in British English is substituted by the sound in New Zealand English. The sound E in British English is a close front rounded vowel. The tongue will be close to the top and front of the mouth. E like that. Lips will be stretched like we are smiling and not rounded. E, E, E. The sound in New Zealand English is a mid-central unstressed vowel. The tongue will be placed in the middle and central of the mouth. Lips will be in a neutralized shape. Uh, uh. The lips will not be in a rounded shape or like we are smiling like the vowel E in British English. The New Zealand English has wider and slower diphthongs compared to the British English and lacks smoothness. New Zealand English vowel E, as in bit, is a central vowel in the region of a sound. Next, I would like to show you some of the examples that can make us understand the major difference between British English and New Zealand English pronunciation. For example, the word big in British English is pronounced as big, but in New Zealand English it is pronounced as bug. Bug. Big becomes bug. Next, sit. Sit becomes sut. Sut. Sit is sut in New Zealand English pronunciation. Everything becomes a. The vowel sound E becomes a in New Zealand English compared to British English.
Good afternoon, I'm Akina Okada. My matric number is 97883. Now I'm going to explain about E in British English is an alternative to E in New Zealand English. RP E sound is a long cross front unrounded vowel. For the first, begin with your mouth open, but your tongue high and close to the roof of your mouth. Secondly, your tongue should be toward to the front of your mouth, and the side of your tongue should be close to your upper molars. For the lips, you should keep your lip unrounded. They should be relaxed and not protruded. For a second duration, make sure to hold the sound for a slightly extended period compared to a short vowel sound. Next, on the other hand, the E sound is a short, close front unrounded vowel. For the first, begin with your mouth open, but your tongue high and close to the roof of your mouth, and your tongue should be toward for the front of your mouth, and the side of your tongue should be close to your upper molar. For the lips, keep your lip unrounded. They should be relaxed and not protruded. And also, sound duration is a short vowel. It is not held an extended period. It is quick and crisp sound. So, what makes New Zealand English distinct is influenced by Maori. The phonology of Maori is relatively simple. It has only 5 vowel and 10 consonants in a syllable structure, where Maori is concerned is a unit of length such that a short vowel is rhythmically equivalent to a single syllable containing a long vowel. And next slide is an example of difference. If you say feel, RP sound, it will be feel. So for feel in British English, it would be like feel with the E representing the long E sound. On the other hand, if you want to say in New Zealand English, it will be fell. And if you want to say live in RP English, it will be live. And New Zealand English is
And that's all
live.
from us. Thank you.